Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to some more reviews. So far, Spongebob has been a pretty good show so far. We've had 2 good seasons. We've had some bad episodes here and there, but we've had some pretty good seasons so far. And personally, I'm kind of excited to get, into reviewing some more of the show. And all that. So I'm going to be tackling, part 2 of season 3. Yep, I'm going to be tackling the second part of this season. And I'm really excited to do this for you guys. Of course, though, if you guys want more videos like this, remember to subscribe to my channel. I am trying to get to 1K subs at the moment. Right now, I am over 600 subs. Thank you guys for the support. I really do appreciate it. And if we can get to 1K subs in the future, I will give you guys a super reward video. Because I would really appreciate that a lot. I really would. And all that. And I can see people really enjoy these videos and all that. After all, I think these videos were popular with Pie Guy Rules too. These were some of his more popular reviews as well. So I can see why people would like these too, And I know Pie Guy Rules no longer uploads, but that's why I kind of do this too, to kind of not only throw in my own opinion, but, fill in the void of, Pie Guy Rules not uploading anymore. Because he had some pretty good videos too. I will say this though, he did actually post, about a couple weeks ago, I believe, on talking about maybe coming back or something, like he was, keeping up on what was going on behind the scenes. So it's good that at least, at least he, he's doing okay and all that, because I know he was stressed out. But yeah, that's kind of what inspired me to make these videos. But they're really fun to do. But, I think that's about really all I have to say, though. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get into this. We're going to go ahead and review our first episode of Season 3, Part 2 for reviews. Brrr. Is it cold in here, or is it just me? Nope, apparently it is snow effect. Yep, it is snow effect. This episode is about snow. It's about apparently snow and all that, and we get to see some snow. It's really interesting. It actually fits not only the season, but we have snow outside. In fact, I actually had to shovel the sidewalk off earlier today and all that, because it was getting, that way we didn't get in trouble, or a fine or something, for having snow on the sidewalk. To be fair, though, probably should have had that dug up, but, really didn't get to that. But, yeah, it's a very good fitting and all that. And I think we're supposed to be getting more snow soon. Maybe some more tonight. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't say anything on the forecast, but it doesn't mean anything. And I was outside because I was going to go offer to, snow one of the neighbors' sidewalk, but they didn't answer the door. They were sitting watching TV, but they didn't answer, so I was just like, I didn't want to bother, But, yeah, so, yeah, this episode, though, is pretty fitting, though, for this. But, yeah, so, what I like about this episode, though, is, is we first start off with, we start off seeing, the narrator talking about glaciers and stuff and all that, and how sometimes they can move into warmer waters and cause, stuff to get colder. Which, honestly, in a way, kind of can happen, if cold water, if too much of it mixes in with warm water, it can kind of cause some cold stuff. Although, I don't know if it would cause, it to get cold like that for a long time, but, it's still pretty interesting and all that, And I mean, Steven, Hillenburg again, he was he worked with, with the ocean and stuff and all that, so, he knows kind of a lot about this stuff. But, yeah, I kind of like that. Also, I like that we get to see the characters, like Mr. Krabs makes a snow dollar, which is pretty funny. So instead of a snowman, it's a snow dollar. We see Mrs. Puff blowing snow off of her boat, and it lands on this other guy. And then we see Plankton talking about wanting to, rule the world with the snow and all that. Which is kind of crazy. Yeah, this is something I want to point out, too, that they'll kind of do, and all that with Plankton as well. Most of the time, you'll see Plankton just wants to steal the Krabby Patty, but sometimes they'll have moments where he wants to kind of just rule the world or something, which I personally, I don't know, I don't really care for that part of him. I feel like it doesn't really fit him very well. And I mean, this is from, season 3, so it's still, pre-movie era and all that, but, yeah, I don't really feel like it fits Plankton very well to want to rule the world, Yeah, he wants to steal the Krabby Patty formula to, get more customers than Mr. Krabs, and he's jealous, but I never really saw him as wanting to rule the world, and all that, but trust me, we will, see that kind of more a little bit down the road, just a heads up there. But yeah, those are kind of just some interesting, things and jokes and stuff. But, I do like that we see SpongeBob and Patrick playing snowball fights. It's really funny. Also, for some reason, by the way, they're not really wearing any, they're not really wearing, warm clothing, they're just wearing their normal clothes. I don't understand why the animators couldn't at least give them some, clothes to wear. I mean, I think they give SpongeBob a hat, and then, Squidward, they give, Squidward's in this episode, too. They give him, a little, sweater-looking shirt, but I don't think they really do a lot with the clothes. I mean, Patrick just wears his usual clothes, which is just kind of weird to me. They couldn't bother, giving him, some clothes to wear. I don't know. But, yeah, I do really like, again, them going into all this trouble to have, a snowball fight. Yeah, they have a little snowball fight and all that, and all that, and then they, and apparently Squidward, at first, is just annoyed and that snowball fights are for immature children, or was it immature children, or something like that, and then, of course, he gets involved with it, too, and all that. It's really funny, and for some reason, they use this fireplace as a way to, start the snowball fight. I don't know why that's a thing, but, I don't know. There's actually quite a bit of jokes in this episode, too, I really like. I really do. I like the jokes where Patrick's trying to freaking build make a snowball, but can do everything but build or make a snowball. Apparently he can even make I don't know, like, what is it, like a spring or something? Like, I don't know what the shape is. Like, it looks like a spring. It's really funny, but apparently, he can throw. He even after SpongeBob helps him, he still has, some cubes and stuff on and all that, behind him and all that, where he's giggling, behind the fort. It's really funny. It's really funny. But yeah, like I said, I like it, I like these episodes where Squidward starts getting involved with their shenanigans too, and then realizes it's fun. And for some reason, at the end of the episode, I'm not sure why, but for some reason they want him to play, and then suddenly they don't want him to, or they. Maybe it's because he's taking it too far. I don't know. And all that, because I guess a sign of Squidward's clarinet in your head is obviously meaning he doesn't want to play. I don't know. So they kind of ditch him and all that. I don't know. It's kind of weird and all that. And then, he builds this giant ass, skyscraper freaking fort. Like, how the hell does he do that? It's just it's weird. It kind of brings me back to, when I was little, and, when playing a box and stuff. Oh, it's really fun. Because you got to figure out how to get out of the box, it's just really funny. Yeah, my dad, had this box, from his safe and all that, and I went inside of it and all that, but it was kind of hard to get out of the box because, it was so tall, That's kind of how I feel about Squidward's fort, I guess he could have probably went under the snow and maybe went somewhere else, but I don't know, it just seems kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know, there's a lot of good jokes in this episode, and I definitely am going to say this episode, in my opinion, is definitely getting a good, and then I'm going to be giving it not just a good, but 120 points. Yep, I'm going to be giving it 120 points. Yep, it's a really good episode. I really like it. Definitely one of my, favorites of season 3 so far. It's really good. Like I said, it's a really good episode. I really do like it. Sorry, too, I hit, some buttons on my scoring thing, but I got that taken care of. But yeah, I gotta say, it's definitely a really good episode. I do really like how much they do with the snowball effect, and all that, the snowball war and all that. And then I liked too, seeing Patrick, choking on snow, too. I didn't bring that up, but Patrick freaking chokes on literal snow. It's really funny. It really is, and all that. It's funny. But yeah, I will say, the ending's a little confusing with SpongeBob and Patrick leaving Squidward out there, but also, I don't know, it's just kind of, I think it's confusing, but also, again, Squidward, kind of was acting a little bit, he was acting kind of crazy there with the clarinet and stuff and all, I don't know, I don't know where his clarinet came from, but I don't know. But let's go ahead and move on to the next episode. Our next episode is called One Crab's Trash. Can I just say to you real quick, that I really, and I mean it, I really, really like this title card. I really like it. It looks really nice. I like the little treasure chest. And then, the watery background, it looks really nice. And I'm guessing the watery background maybe part of the spookiness it's the spookiness of, the later part of the episode, which I'll get into in a second. But yeah, it's really nice. It's one of those rare title cards where you have an actual object or person in there. Now, I brought that up in when I reviewed the episode. There was an episode called, Whatever Happened to Spongebob in Season 5. I talked about how the show sometimes will do this thing where they need to, where they put objects or people in there, and it's kind of rare, and it is rare, but it's always really fun when they do stuff like this, and this is definitely one of those title cards that I really like. Now, the episode itself, though, so this episode, it's called One Crab's Trash. And that's kind of, implying what the narrator says, with the whole saying. One man's trash is another person's treasure, as in, something trash, can be, used for something else down the road or something. Only Mr. Krabs is, crap in his yard is literal shit, and all that, and it's pretty, funny, him trying to scam people and stuff. Especially somebody with, but yeah, it's like somebody trying to, buy this umbrella, and all that, and he's, and I think Mr. Krabs is trying to charge it, what was it, $1.50? Or no, yeah, $1.50. No, the person was trying to ask $1.50 for an umbrella and all that, and he's like, but $1.50, and it's like an antique, and it's for the Queen of England, or not England, what was it, Switzerland or something like that? I don't know. It's pretty funny. It's a funny joke, and I like that he literally gets called out in his BS. But the person even questions it has holes in it. I'm like, why the hell would you want an umbrella if it has fucking holes in it, Why would you still want the umbrella if it has holes in it? That's not going to do you any good that won't do you any good for the rain. I guess some rich people may use it for fanciness, for just holding it around, but still, I don't even know if a rich person would want to hold an umbrella like a king or something like that, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but yeah, there's a lot of jokes in here, and I also like the joke, real quick before I talk about this joke's really funny, but Mr. Krabs, has a drinking hat in there, which, by the way, is probably the only good thing in his pile of crap and all that he has. Hell, I don't even know if it's even his trash. By the way, I'm just saying, he's got all that crap just laying in his yard. But he has this drinking hat, or not this drinking hat, this bubble hat. Which, by the way, I'm not gonna lie, I'm jealous. I would love a bubble hat like that. I would. But apparently, this hat is apparently the only one, and apparently everybody's trying to pay $500 to $1,000 to $1 million and all that for a hat. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I wouldn't pay $500 for that hat. Even though it's nice, I could probably just go have somebody make me that for less than that. I probably wouldn't pay $500 for a freaking hat like that. Like I said, I would want it, but I wouldn't want to pay $500 for it. But, so he tries to spin the episode trying to, trick SpongeBob into getting it. So at one point, he called. This is one of the jokes that I really like. Apparently, Mr. Krabs says that hat makes you look like a girl, and then SpongeBob replies, "Am I a pretty girl?" I'm sorry, that's really funny, and then Mr. Krabs is like, you're beautiful, and then these citizens come and look annoyed at him and all that. It's a pretty funny joke. I don't know why they're annoyed. I mean, maybe because it's creepy. It's not that creepy. I mean, yeah, it's like, I guess telling a boy that they're pretty is that may just be a little bit weird, but I don't know if I would get that annoyed, but I don't know. But, yeah, Mr. Krabs, and all that, does all this stuff and all that, and, he also gives them these other hats, too, which one of them I like is the juicer. I like the juicer one. I would, with the little juice, having a ketchup come out of it, it's pretty funny, and all that, yeah, we have all these, hats and stuff, and then apparently that doesn't work. So then he goes to the point where he literally scares him and all that, and we get this shopping list joke and all that, and there's just like jokes. There's like a bunch of jokes in this episode too, and all that, and like we get the floating shopping list, and it's really funny and all that, and apparently Mr. Krabs tells him to go bury it somewhere. We're tricking him to go bury it somewhere, which I'm just like, okay, I mean, here's the thing. I get him wanting to trick SpongeBob with a ghost and haunting him and saying it's cursed and stuff. But why the hell would you have him go bury it somewhere? Like, if you think it's a fake name, I'm like, did Mr. Krabs have another plan for the hat? Like, was he gonna, like, maybe make his house or something look like the resting place or something? Like, why would he tell them all that stuff? If he doesn't even believe the person's real or something. Apparently the person's real, though, so he goes to the cemetery, which is probably like the best part of the episode, in my opinion. Him going to the cemetery. It's creepy, but it's really funny. And I really like it. Him just going to this cemetery and all that, and it's really nice. Which kind of, is what I was talking about with this title card here in the background. That's what I think the water and stuff's supposed to be. It's supposed to be having this dark, effect to it. Because that's kind of where he goes. But it is really cool to see, him and all that, with this stuff. And like I said, there's a lot going on in this episode. But yeah, he ends up digging a grave to get this hat. Which, by the way, this meme is used in a lot of cases. Hell, when Disney shut down Blue Sky, they used this meme a lot. Like basically Disney digging Blue Sky's grave and all that by, now we got an Ice Age. We had an Ice Age, Adventures of Buck Wild, and now we have an Ice Age 6 coming out, without their, involvement, and, which is their properties and stuff, there's all that kind of stuff. It kind of was like that, too, with Nickelodeon, too. They make that meme a lot, too. It's not as a common meme, but it is still a pretty funny meme. Yeah, he digs this grave up, and apparently the skeleton's alive. And then he has his whole army try to take a hat that belongs to him, and then Mr. Krabs takes it. Which honestly would probably make me kind of feel bad for him in a way. It make me really hate Mr. Krabs, which I do hate Mr. Krabs, and I do feel bad for him for getting his hat stolen. But hell, at least Mr. Krabs does get his just desserts for what he did. Because apparently, that hat that he tried to go through all this trouble to get, apparently it's a piece of crap, like it's junk, and it's worthless, because there's a whole trash can full of them. Like, I don't know why you'd want to throw that hat in the trash, though. The hat is nice. I did call it a piece of crap, but I was referring to, it's worthless like his other junk, that's what I mean by it, it's, and all that, but it is pretty nice to see that, and I just like seeing all these different hats in the episode, too, and I like seeing SpongeBob has this clapping hat at the end, too. Definitely really nice. But yeah, I'm gonna say this one's definitely getting a good, though. I love this one. And I'm gonna give it 120 points. But yeah, I'm gonna give it 120 points. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe giving it 100 points, because I do kind of feel bad for the skeleton and all that, but, guy not for losing his hat to Mr. Krabs, but I guess the skeleton guy could probably just go to the dumpster and get more of them, or maybe he can just, or I'm sure Mr. Krabs may just, toss it back in the grave, because he's like, what am I going to do with this freaking hat that I have now, Yeah, Mr. Krabs is kind of a villain in this episode, but I still really do like this episode. I think it's definitely a really good one. But now we're going to move on to the next one. The next one is As Seen on TV. Okay, this one, though, I'm going to tell you guys right now, this one, I don't have as much to say about this one as I did with the last two. Basically what happens, though, is, so we're going to start off with the fact that Mr. Krabs is trying to make a commercial for his restaurant, which, is probably a good idea, because, commercials are, to attract customers, which is something I feel like I kind of don't like in today's world, like the lack of commercials. Hell, I miss all those cereal commercial ads I used to watch on Nickelodeon and stuff back in the day. Like, I don't like Cocoa Puffs, but I like the Cocoa Bird, the commercials and all that, they were really good, even though the cereal I did not like. But, apparently, so he put Squidward in charge of, a commercial and all that. I guess Mr. Krabs has a worm and all that, which we saw in Sandy's Rocket, but we see it again here. But I think this is the last time we see Mr. Krabs' worm, which I don't really know why does he need a worm? Like, what was the point of giving him a worm? Like, if you're not even gonna show it again, I don't really see the point of him having a pet. Honestly, I don't think he really needs a pet, really. I think, maybe that's why I got rid of it, but I'm like, he disappeared, this worm only appeared twice, and maybe he might have appeared more, but I think he appeared twice, and then was just gone. So it's just kind of weird just to give him a worm. I don't really get the point of that. But apparently, Mr. Krabs gets pissed off at Squidward, though, because, he spent all this money, which, a lot of it, though, I'm not gonna lie, Mr. Krabs probably needs to have good stuff for a commercial. Like he needs to, to have, but some of the stuff, though, honestly, Mr. Krabs doesn't really need, why did Squidward need to buy a fucking second Krusty Krab to do a commercial, and then he has, a self-looking, or, what do you call that, those people the actors and all that look like, they're meant to look similar to the other, person and all that. I don't know. He has somebody else look like Mr. Krabs. Like, he looks exactly like him. Oh, it's a stunt double. That's what it is, a stunt double. Like, what was the point of having that? And then, and all that. Like I said, it's just weird. Like, it is really, and I mean, with this, the most, thing possible. Like, it's very weird to have, like, 2 Mr. Krabs and stuff. But, yeah, I mean, I think Mr. Krabs actually doesn't even point that out. He points out the clown and Squidward's responses that, the job can be really stressful, which I guess a clown can be good, but, yeah, this is actually kind of another meme, too, by the way, like the Dig in the Grave one, where he kicks everybody out except the clown. But it's also not as common, as some of the others that we've had, but it's still a meme they do, too. But yeah, it's kind of weird and all. So we have the opening there and all that, and then apparently we have, a commercial. Apparently, I think it's like at 2 a.m. or something. So SpongeBob stays up till 2 a.m. to see himself on, this ad and all that, and, because Mr. Krabs is a cheap ass, and all that, who can't pay for an ad during the day. So it just feels like, he kind of wasted his money on that if you think about it. Well, what's the point of making an ad if nobody's going to really see it? But, I don't know. I mean, some people are up late at night, like myself, but a lot of people go to bed, early and all that, so they can get up at the crack of dawn. So nobody's going to see the commercial. I don't know. One thing I will say about the commercial, though, is I will say, so they have, Squidward dresses a lady, which is funny and all that, which I can kind of get that, because Mr. Krabs rather have somebody else than hire somebody, different for the commercial. But, like, why does he have Pearl, like, in there? Pearl hates Krabby Patties. And that's kind of the thing. So, Pearl, she hates Krabby Patties. But she's eating them in this commercial, so it's kind of weird, like, that's kind of something I will say doesn't make much sense to me. But now I will say this, years later down the road, I've reviewed this episode, but I'm going to point it out that not one course meal, that's a different episode that I don't want to talk about right now. Gross Sprout, in season 7, we see Pearl eat a Krabby Patty, but that's because she was so desperately hungry, she needed something to eat. Here, it's just like, why give her a Krabby Patty, and all that, it doesn't make any sense, because she doesn't like Krabby Patties, but, so she's not really forced to eat it or anything, so, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. But, yeah, there's not really a lot to talk about. I mean, SpongeBob, gets it over his head because he's famous and all that, and he's basically kind of just fame. He acts all in fame and all that because the fame goes to his head and all that, and Mr. Krabs and Squidward kind of get annoyed by him. Squidward gets annoyed by him more. And all that. I don't know. There's really not, like, a ton to this episode. A lot of it's more at the beginning, but yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and just give it a score and get it out of the way. I'm going to give it a score, giving it a good, and I'm going to be giving 100 points. So yeah, this is going to get 100 points. This episode, though, honestly, I think this episode, had, this episode, I think it could have worked better, honestly, but I think my problem is with this episode is it's, I do like the beginning part of the episode and all that, but I think SpongeBob's fame going to his head stick kind of goes a little too far. Like, it goes a little too far, and I just kind of, I don't know, I kind of just think it gets a little competitive after a while, but I know a lot of other people really like this one, but I don't know, I don't think it's bad, like, but I think it can get kind of annoying and all that, and apparently even after this, SpongeBob apparently is still delusional and thinks that he quit fry cooking and all that, and it's just kind of a little bit, kind of annoying a bit, but, and all that. And then he also sings something called A Striped Sweater, which is a song too. Apparently, what's a song that apparently plays on YouTube on a playlist. Because I actually have listened to some SpongeBob music, or some SpongeBob songs on like this, I think it's the SpongeBob channel or something, and they actually include this song. They don't really include the other ones, but they include this one, because they do like a season 1 through every season with their songs and stuff, but they include this one, but there's been some they have not included, but this is one of those that it's just an alright song, but to be fair, though, it's not really a musical number song. It's just like a quick song. But yeah, this episode's just it's just all like it's good, but I think it's 100 points. It's good, but I mean maybe I could have gave it a little bit lower points, but I don't know. For right now, I'll give it 100 points. Maybe if I change my mind, I might re-review it, but I don't think it deserves a meh or a bad. I think it's still pretty good, but like I said, I think SpongeBob, gets a little competitive and annoying to watch SpongeBob kind of just like this in the episode. But I don't know, let's go on to the next one. Can you spare a dime? So this episode, now this one, you guys have already seen me, review this one. This is another one I've reviewed. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just give it a score. And I'm going to give it, get it out of the way. Yeah, we're giving it 120 points. 120 points, though. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this episode, because I've already reviewed it. But I'm just going to say, this one is really good. Like, it's really good. So obviously Mr. Krabs gets pissed off at Squidward and accuses them of stealing, his dime and all that. And then Squidward becomes homeless because Squidward, can kind of be cocky and all that, and all, which may be why he, has a hard time getting a job, because, he is known for being lazy. And all that, but SpongeBob decides to take him in and all that, and it causes a bunch of disaster and all that, and it's really funny. Like I said, it's a really funny episode. But yeah, Can You Spare a Dime, though, is definitely one of my favorite episodes of pre-movie SpongeBob. It is really funny. Like, it's really funny, it's filled with lots of jokes, and my favorite part, by far, in the entire episode is just seeing Mr. Krabs get fucking literally strangled whole by SpongeBob. SpongeBob is done with his bullshit and literally strangles his ass, which is really funny and all that. And then it turns out he has the dime the entire time, which honestly is kind of like, it kind of makes that one scene where he's looking closely at this other dime that SpongeBob gave him kind of pointless, because Mr. Krabs, his dime looks different. I guess to hint at it, that like until I throw you off a little bit until the big reveal, like a few seconds later, that was the dime looked a lot different, but I don't know, I think just having that close-up kind of looks a little bit weird, just to have that I guess maybe he's just trying to see how polished it looks, maybe. I don't know. Because he does like clean money, but, according to, Squid's Day Off, he doesn't want soiled money, he wants clean money. Because, that's how he dropped one of his dimes before. I guess to be fair, though, during that episode, he was still kind of a little bit different. Because at this point, Mr. Krabs has kind of become more of a cheapskate and less of a good boss. But this is one of those cheapskate episodes, just like, some of the others we've seen so far that I really do like. Besides, I would say maybe jellyfishing and Squid on Strike that I can think of. I think for the most part, his character has been still pretty entertaining, but that will be changing here pretty soon. Trust me, we're gonna get to some pretty bad stuff, but yeah, I don't think there's a lot else for me to point out, because I've already reviewed this episode once. So let's go ahead and move on to the next episode. No weenies allowed. So, no weenies allowed. Now, this episode is some gold here. This is some good stuff here. This is another one of, people's fan favorites. And I can totally see why. I can see why a lot of people really like this episode. So in No Weenies Allowed, SpongeBob apparently wants to get into this club, what's it called, a salty saloon or something like that. But he has to be tough to get in. And this all happened, after him and Sandy had this karate match. Which has been a while, though, since they had karate, now that I think about it, hasn't it? Do they really do karate in season 2? I mean, they had that moment in Karate Choppers. Well, not Karate Choppers, I mean, that's season 1. I mean, that's a karate episode, Christmas Who, where SpongeBob was trying to, do karate, but otherwise, have they really been doing a lot of karate? I mean, I don't know. But it is really nice to see that and all. And also, I'm not sure, but I can't remember, but I think this might be the last time, too, we see SpongeBob in blue trunks. Because after this episode, they'll give him red trunks. They'll change his trunks to red. And I still don't know why they did that, because I haven't gotten any... Because I've asked people, but so far nobody's responded to that question yet. But maybe I'll get it in the future. But yeah, they changed his swim trunks. It could be like a Star Wars thing, where like Luke was going to have like a different color lightsaber, and then they decided to go with... I think, what was it, green or blue or something? Because I think it was in A New Hope or Return of the Jedi. I think some people said Return of the Jedi too. Maybe it was A New Hope too, where he was going to have like a yellow lightsaber or something. I don't know. And then they went with a different color because of the camera. Maybe that's why they changed his trunks, because it was easier to animate. I don't know. It just seems kind of... I don't know. But yeah, basically, they go through this karate match and all that, and then SpongeBob tries to go inside because he sees Sandy going in, and now he really wants to go in, and all that, because he wants to go in with his friends, and all. Which, Sandy. Let's be fair, Sandy. Well, not Sandy. SpongeBob and Sandy, once had a relationship thing, At this point, I think it's pretty much gone. They're just friends now. But he still wants to go in and be popular with his friends, But he can't do that because he's not tough enough and all that. So he goes to this Weenie Hut Jr. and all that, or I guess is it Super Weenie Hut Juniors or Weenie Hut Juniors? Apparently, there's like 1,000 different Weenie Hut Junior restaurants, because there's Weenie Hut Juniors, and then there's Super Weenie Hut Juniors, and then Monster and all that. So I'm like, are they like mom and pop stores or something? Oh, hold on a second. Alright, guys. Sorry about what happened earlier. I was trying to make, my video, and I accidentally stopped the video when I was pausing it. I had my mom calling me, so I had to answer that. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that. So the video is gonna sound a bit funny. I actually thought about maybe just redoing it at first, but I'm like over 40 minutes in. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna redo that. That'd be kind of just a pain to kind of redo all of that. If it happens again, I'll probably do that, which I'm crossing my fingers I don't hit the wrong button again. But yeah, sorry about that. But everything should be back on track now. Just a heads up, I will be pausing the video at least one more time because I was doing some reactions to Steven Universe in the future and all that. And I guess I had the video thing saved on the camera, and I guess it saved a couple photos too. I'm not sure where the photos came from, because I only took a couple videos, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, sorry about that. But anywho, let's get back to the review stuff now. So, anywho, I was talking about this episode, No Weenies Allowed. Yeah, this episode, like I said, it's definitely, I've said, it's really funny. Like, there are a lot of jokes in it. Yeah, I want to say there's a lot of jokes in it. And, yeah, I definitely think the whole mom and pop thing, how you guys have, like I said, there's a bunch of mom and pop stores all over the place. There's like 1,000 freaking Weenie Hut, junior restaurants. It's very weird, but there's even a Weenie Hut junior hospital too, apparently. So, yeah, kind of weird. So this episode, is about SpongeBob, trying to get into, the Salty Subtoon or whatever the heck. I think I'm saying it wrong. And he tries to everything he can to get in there, and he fails multiple times, and then he meets up with Patrick. Apparently Patrick's in the restaurant for a special, but it's on the wrong date. And all that, or actually, they moved it, or it got moved to. It moved on Friday or something, and apparently, he's on there in the wrong day and stuff. But apparently, this robot droid thing offers to for them to fake fight. So they fake fight, and somehow Patrick gets his ass kicked. I am not kidding, like, I have no idea what happens, he just gets his ass kicked. And I like the little freaking close-up we get of his butt, like, it's really weird, it's kind of gross, but also very weird, like who's attacking him, we never really know. But, I'm sure it won't be the Flying Dutchman, because the Flying Dutchman never is invisible. I'm sure the Flying Dutchman would love to do that to them, though, but, because he probably finds SpongeBob and Patrick really annoying, especially after the ship episode, which, he was supposed to eat them there, but I'm sure he probably digested them and probably would have, got him out by now, but in Shanghai, But yeah, anywho, so it's just kind of, it's just a bunch of jokes and all that, and then SpongeBob finally goes in there only to fall on an ice cube. And then, that's where the hospital thing comes in. So, yeah, but, yeah, this episode definitely is getting, a good, and then I'll be giving it not only a good, but I'm going to be getting it. Hey, let me open my score thing back up. There we go. I'm going to be giving it 120 points. Yep. My only complaint is I kind of wish we got to see inside of the place. We don't really get to see inside of it. But it's still a pretty good play. It's still a pretty good episode. I just wish we could have seen kind of the inside of it. We just spent the episode SpongeBob trying to get in there. Now there is one episode coming down the road with a bunch of tough guys in it, but I don't think it's the same place. But I could be wrong. But there's a lot of good jokes in this episode and all that. Before I move on to the next episode, I do want to point out this. When I was talking about the commercial stuff, I was actually talking about that there's no good commercials anymore. Like, they don't really advertise a lot of the good stuff anymore. Not that they don't advertise anymore. So, like, I talked about the Cocoa Bird. They don't advertise that and all that. And they don't advertise, like, a lot of other stores and stuff. That's what I meant by that, That's what I meant. But they just kind of advertise their own stuff anymore, instead of, like, advertising other stuff. But let's move on to the next episode. Our next one is Squilliam Returns. So as the name implies, Squilliam returns in this episode, and apparently Squidward wants to impress him and all, or make him jealous of him. So he has the Krusty Krab get all decorated and stuff, and all that. And apparently SpongeBob is supposed to learn how to be a waiter. This is another episode that I really like. I really do like it. It's good to see Squilliam again. Although I will say I kind of miss Bubble Bass, and SpongeBob's rival. Like, I don't really understand why the writers had a problem with him being a rival for SpongeBob. Yeah, I mean, they could have just had him appear every so often, kind of like Squilliam here. So, that way you didn't have to focus on it all the time. But, because we never really know why Bubble Bass and SpongeBob were rivals. Like, we never know why. We never focused on that past, They just knew each other for a long time or something, But Squilliam, though, apparently, tells Squidward that he sucks eggs, too. Apparently he sucked eggs. That's actually very weird. Like, why would you want to suck eggs? I mean, I don't know. I guess some people just like their eggs, I guess. Honestly, that kind of sounded a little bit dirty, but, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing for Squidward to do, but I don't know. Hey, maybe secretly, maybe they're in a relationship. Yep, who knows? I mean, we do have one scene where freaking Squidward imagines him without clothes, and then he has a buff body that he's like, oh no, he's hot. So I mean, who the heck knows? I don't know. But yeah, I will say I think the episode gets really good when SpongeBob actually, when he loses his mind, starts losing it, and then Squidward comes back in with Squilliam, and then suddenly he was able to decorate the entire building in like 20 seconds. It's pretty funny. I love it when the Krusty Krab gets decorated. Like, I think the animators really have fun doing this. And just a heads up, this is something that's going to be a lot more common in post-movie SpongeBob. Now, they've done this before in the past, but post-movie is where they really do this. They really get into it. So, just a heads up there. But yeah, Squilliam though, like I said, he has has a rival with Squidward and all that. So Squidward tries to make him jealous and all that, and everything goes good until apparently SpongeBob does not know his name. But apparently, he has a bunch of living creatures inside his head and all that, which is funny. And one of them apparently has kids, so yeah, I guess that's a thing too. But yeah, he ends up losing his mind because his critters cannot find the documents on his name. So he loses his mind and all that. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. Like like he goes berserk and all that. It's really funny. But yeah, I think the episode, in my opinion, is definitely a good. And then I'm not gonna just give it a good. I'm gonna be giving it 98 points. Now you might be thinking though, why am I giving it 98 points? And that's because of the ending. I kind of feel bad for Squidward. Like Squidward, honestly, I just kind of feel bad for him at the end, like losing to Squilliam and all that. Everything else about the episode was really good, but yeah, the ending, I just kind of felt bad for Squidward. Also, just a heads up, too, this will be the last time we'll see Squilliam for a long time. Like, he just disappears. Like, he'll disappear for a long time, then he'll return in Season 6, then he disappears again and all that. From what I could hear, he did come back in one of the more recent episodes, but I don't remember if it was a background appearance or what. I think it wasn't. I think he was actually in the episode, but it's kind of weird. It's like the writers sometimes forget about him, sometimes don't. I don't know. It's just really weird. But yeah, besides the ending, everything else about the episode was really good. It was really funny. But yeah, the ending really pissed me off a bit because I felt bad for Squidward. But anywho, time to go on to the next episode. Alright, next up we have Crab Borg. Yep, Crab Borg is next. This is the next episode. I have to say, like the one Crab's Trash, I really like the title card in this one a lot. I don't think it's as fancy as the other one, but I like how all the letters are like robotic. Because as implied in this episode, SpongeBob mistakes Mr. Krabs as a robot because he sees a scary movie, so he starts assuming that he's a robot. Also, by the way, SpongeBob apparently reveals about his Uncle Sherm. I don't remember if he mentioned him before this or not, but I think this might be the first time we hear the name Uncle Sherm. So, we learn about he has an uncle named Uncle Sherm, but I'm not really sure if this is the first time we hear or not. Like, I literally don't remember. But it's really interesting and odd to hear that. But this is one of those episodes, by the way, like Pretty Patties, where I think this one's not really, like, you're not going to get probably a lot of jokes out of it. Like, there are some jokes, but you're not going to get, like, a lot out of it. If anything, I think this episode probably is more relatable with people now than it was then with one of the jokes. Because there isn't, like, well, it's not really a... It's kind of a joke, but more so of Squidward talking about the robots taking over the world, which is kind of, what's happening right now in the real world. Like, AI is replacing people in the drive-thrus and all that. Like, it's kind of becoming kind of chaotic. Otherwise, yeah, there's really not a ton with it. But I mean, there are, like I said, there are some other jokes too, like Squidward's pirate joke with the theater, that was really funny. And all that, and Mr. Krabs looking like a robot because he keeps batteries for Pearl for Christmas because he's really that much of a cheapskate. So he's got freaking batteries. I can totally see why Pearl hates her dad so much, but I mean, she can be kind of spoiled though too. So I mean, it's not really all his fault, but it is kind of interesting too, though. But yeah, actually, too, by the way, this episode, I think, too, is one of the few times Mr. Krabs, doesn't actually, he doesn't actually focus on, really, money in this episode. I mean, I guess it's not really a Mr. Krabs themed episode, but it's one that focuses on him. You know, them thinking he's a robot, but, I mean, besides the battery thing, I don't think there's really a lot of money jokes in there. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember that. I mean, I remember there was a moment where Spongebob found a nickel, you know, on the floor, you know, so, I mean, I don't know. Man, there's not really a ton of jokes in there, but yeah, I do like the part, you know, well, the joke with that, but, you know, I do like, you know, seeing Mr. Krabs just look like a robot, and then that's where Squidward snaps and starts believing it. But yeah, this episode, though, I'll go ahead and just give it a score and get it out of the way. This one's gonna get a good. I think it definitely deserves a good, in my opinion. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it 93 points. Yeah. 93 points. Yeah, this is another one that's getting 90. I mean, getting like not 100 or 120 points. That's because this one, I'm going to tell you guys, like the last one where I felt bad for Squidward, I kind of feel bad for Mr. Krabs a bit more. Oops, sorry about that. But I feel bad for Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs, I understand Mr. Krabs is like a cheapskate and all that, but in this one, he doesn't really do anything wrong and all that. You know, I kind of feel bad that, you know, Squidward and SpongeBob break his stuff and all that. And I mean, to be fair though, I mean, it's not like they did it, like, on purpose to torture him, you know, because they thought he was the real Mr. Krabs. They did it to make him talk, you know, but I still kind of feel bad for him. Maybe it's because I've had things get broken in the past, too, you know, that I hated. I mean, I had those 3DSs get broken and all that. Oh, that was annoying. But yeah, so I kind of feel bad for that. You know, but for the most part, the episode was pretty good. But if anything, I think, Squidward and SpongeBob are not going to be seeing any paychecks, probably. They probably won't be seeing any of their paychecks, because I'm sure that'll go to the damages they've done. But yeah, I don't really have a lot else, I think, to say about this one. This one's definitely, it's not as good as, like, Imitation Krabs, which had a robot-themed Mr. Krabs in it, too. But this one's still not bad, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. Even growing up, I've had problems with it. And similar to Pretty Patty, I think, you know, I think it doesn't have a lot of jokes in it, which, in my opinion, is not a big deal. Because I've said that before, but I know other people, if they're looking for, like, comedy, there's not, like, a ton of it in this episode. And honestly, I think Pretty Patty's had a better concept with the patties, you know. But anywho, let's go on to the next episode, which you guys already kind of seen. So, Rockabye Bow. Now, this episode right here, this episode, if it teaches us anything, it teaches us that Patrick is a really shitty parent. Like, he's a really shitty dad. So what happens in this episode is, apparently, SpongeBob and Patrick are playing with I guess, newspaper rubber bands. I'm not sure why they wrapped it around them. It's kind of weird and all that. But, I guess they're just having fun with some rubber bands. And then, they find a scallop. Apparently, it has no parents. So, SpongeBob and Patrick decide to take the clam in. So they decide to take him in and adopt him until he can be old enough to be on his own. And all that. And, I do like the moment where we see Patrick's, like, okay, so Patrick was wanting to be the mom, but then we, see, like, a really close-up of him. I like, too, that it's not, like, super gross, but it's really detailed and all that, and then when he says, just call me Daddy, and then we see his hairy armpits. God, it is really funny. And then we get one of the tracks, too, that plays in a montage, of them hanging out with him, which I like. Apparently, though, this track, though, I don't know if this track really appears again or not. It did appear in, the episode, where Patrick tries to win a trophy. We do see it there, which I forgot the name of that episode, but yeah, we see it there. I think this may be its last appearance. I could be wrong. It's a pretty catchy track. It's not one of my favorite SpongeBob tracks, because there's so many good ones, but I still don't mind this track. You know, it'd be kind of nice to see it come back a little bit, but I do really like, the track and all that, and, I like the fish looking at SpongeBob and Patrick, like mixing them up together. Apparently they have, they're trying to figure out how they made a baby, which I'm just like, I don't know why that's so complicated for these fish to figure it out. I'm like, I mean, they obviously just adopted the clam. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why they have a hard time figuring that out, but I don't know, it's kind of weird, but yeah, it's kind of weird, but I mean, yeah, because gay people do it all the time, so I don't know. Actually, my principal at school, one of my principals had a relationship with somebody, and she had her and her partner had a kid they adopted, so I don't know. But yeah, things that look good in this episode until we get to the part of the episode that Patrick, so Patrick apparently is going to work, while SpongeBob is stuck at home taking care of this clam. And this is where we start seeing the problem, because apparently when he comes home, instead of helping out with this baby clam and all that, he apparently is sitting down watching TV with somebody apparently getting hit in the head with a coconut. I'm not sure what that's all about, but it's kind of weird. But yeah, I guess that's a show he's watching. But yeah, apparently, he does this for like several days, and apparently SpongeBob, I guess, does literally the same thing several days. Like I understand he's cleaning the windows and stuff, but like, why does he need to do that same window? Like, I don't know, it just seems kind of weird. But yeah, Patrick though should definitely be taking care of the baby too. But apparently it looks like he's gonna change his ways when apparently Junior apparently poops a lot. That's the name of the clam. He poops a lot because there's a freaking crap ton of diapers, even in the walls, and apparently even outside. Like who knew a freaking clam could shit so much? I mean, I know babies poop a lot, but still, it's just kind of crazy to see that. But apparently, he never really did learn his lesson, and then he goes in his house, and apparently that's his work. He just sits there lazy and all that, and basically doesn't do anything. He just basically he just doesn't do his responsibility and all that, and Patrick in this episode is pretty a pretty shitty dad and shitty person to SpongeBob. But besides all of that, I definitely want to give this one still a good. I'm going to give it a good. And we're going to be giving it 120. Now, this is getting 120. Now, you guys may be looking at this and thinking as well, like, why is this one getting 120 while episodes like Dumped, where we have a similar problem, where that one gets like a low and a bad? And I actually was going to point that out in Dumped. I meant to point that out, that I was going to bring up that there's an episode similar with that down the road. It does this so much better. The plot itself, though, will be done even later than that. But, like, Patrick himself, would be done better here. What makes this one better is, not only there's a lot more going on in it, with things. Also, Patrick, he's unlikable. But I feel like, too, it's not really in the entire episode, and Patrick, I guess like Dumped, he does get what he deserves. Gary leaves him for SpongeBob, but in this episode, we literally get to see SpongeBob literally freaking scold him. In that episode, he doesn't really scold him or anything, and he just and then, I like that he freaking dumps the fucking donuts on on himself. It's really, interesting and all that, and I just think it's a lot. They do this plot a lot better in this episode than they did in the last one. The last one, Patrick was just a lot more. He's unlikable here, but I don't think they make him too bad, because again, they don't focus on it as much. And again, he does get, I feel like they do a better job with SpongeBob and him, and SpongeBob literally chewing him out, where the last time it felt more like he was mad at Gary and didn't freaking chew out, Patrick. And again, there wasn't really much going on in that episode. Here, there's so much more going on in it, and it just feels like a lot better. But yeah, this episode just a lot better. I was thinking about giving it 100 points because of Patrick, but again, it was at judging the episode, and it's at the end, and again, SpongeBob does call him out. But but I won't go on too much with that episode, because I will talk more about Dumped and all that when I talk about the other one that'll come up later on. But for now, we're going to talk about another episode called The Wet Painters. So Wet Painters is next. Yeah, Wet Painters is next. So this episode is about, apparently, SpongeBob and Patrick, apparently going to go paint his house. However, there's a catch. If they apparently get paint on anything but the walls, apparently SpongeBob and Patrick will lose their asses because Mr. Krabs will freaking cut them off and mount them on his wall. But which is freaking really messed up. That is really, messed up, even for a kid's show. God, that is messed up. I mean, it's not as messed up as SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs burying a body. But, because that was really dark and messed up. But it's still pretty messed up to see, Mr. Krabs threaten him like that on a kid's show. But, I don't know. But, yeah, so they apparently have to do that. And, SpongeBob actually has a really smart idea. He's like, maybe we should take the stuff off the walls, because they probably should do that. But Patrick's like, no, we're gonna leave the stuff on the walls, because apparently they're not getting paid to do that. Which, I mean, yeah, they're not getting paid to do it. But SpongeBob's like, we're not getting paid at all. And I mean, yeah, they're not getting paid at all, so it's like, why the extra work? But then Patrick's like don't pay me then. So it's just kind of a weird, it's like he complains about not getting paid enough to do something, and then it's like that he doesn't want to get paid at all or something. I don't know, it's just kind of weird. To be fair though, they probably should just take the stuff off the wall, because, what happens is apparently SpongeBob apparently gets, makes a paint bubble by accident. And so Patrick makes one too, and then it gets out of hand, and then it gets all over the walls, coincidentally not getting on anything except for their Mr. Krabs' dollar bill. His very first dollar bill he ever earned, that's a frame, apparently got on that. So, yeah, so apparently they spend the entire episode trying to get it cleaned off and all that. And can I just say something too? I like that Mr. Krabs has all these antiques on his wall, but yet he's a cheapskate. So I'm like, does he spend stuff on him, or did he steal all this stuff? I could see him maybe stealing some of this stuff, but I don't know. It seems kind of interesting to see all that, but he just has all this antique crap on his walls, but yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, he basically, they spend the entire episode, doing all this, and then, then he comes back and all that, because apparently they failed, and Mr. Krabs was actually SpongeBob was going to use Patrick's dollar, but apparently Mr. Krabs has a vending machine in his house, too, which I'm like, okay, he doesn't need I can understand having the other antiques in his house, but why does he need a vending machine? It doesn't even look antique. It looks like a normal vending machine. If it was an antique, maybe I can understand. Like one of those red box, machines or something. But, it's just a regular vending machine, and he just has it randomly in his house. It's not like a lot of people will visit him, so I don't see why he needs that in his house, but okay, yeah. And Patrick uses it and gets a candy bar, which, yeah, I'll say is a little bit kind of cringe for Patrick and all that, but I think it does go on a little too long, but it's not that big of a deal, but yeah, apparently it reveals at the end, too, that, none of this, apparently, they need to worry about, because apparently the paint could come off very easily. Also, I didn't bring up, too, that one of the paintings that they were hiding the dollar bill on before he came in and all that, apparently, was the painting from the theme song again. Which, this is actually the last time I think we see the painting in the show. Unless it appears in the newer episodes. I think this is like the last time we see it, which is really interesting. But yeah, the painting though, just well, basically he licks the paint off and apparently they all got worried for nothing though. Like I said, because apparently it could just come off very easily and all that. So he just said that just to mess with them, and it pisses them off, so they leave. And his spit apparently from laughing gets the paint all over the floor. Again, Mr. Krabs sometimes is so cheap that sometimes you wonder why he even bothers even trying to do something. It's like that commercial, like, why did he need to do that? Was it even worth it? And then, this was, like, definitely not worth it. Like, he bought this cheap paint that, doesn't even, like, stay on the walls and all that, and it's just kind of weird, but yeah, definitely very interesting, but yeah, I don't know, this episode, I will say, I do like a lot of the jokes in the episode, but I'm going to definitely give it a good, in my opinion. I think it deserves a good. And then we'll give it 120 points. Yep, 120 points. Definitely a really good one. This is definitely one of my favorites. Now we got the last episode. And oh my, what a good way to send off for this video. This one's definitely getting a good. That's right, a good. And then it's getting 120 points. Yeah, this episode is really good. This one is really good. This is one of the most funniest episodes of the entire show. And this one's not only funny, but this one's honestly a really good way to kind of teach people stuff too. We used this episode in school to teach us about training. So, it teaches you about, like, working in places, like not to be, like, Squidward all angry and stuff, but be polite, and make sure you have a clean environment, because if you have a clean environment, and all that, then, people will not get hurt and stuff. So we had that, and then, and then we have, like, SpongeBob being taught how to, like, use hygiene and stuff. I think did I already say that? No, I didn't say that. Yeah, so you gotta be polite, use hygiene and stuff and all that. And they do all of this in SpongeBob. They do all of this in this show to make it, make SpongeBob kind of, they make, it in a SpongeBob way, and it's really funny. Like, it's really funny. Honestly, this episode feels like it should have came out after Help Wanted. But they probably weren't thinking about it then, but this definitely feels like it would be a time period after Help Wanted. But I don't know, but I really like hearing, like instead of having the normal French narrator, we have like a whole new narrator in this episode. And I really like him. He's really good. By the way, he's not the same voice actor as the French narrator, which is Tom Kenny. He's a different voice actor. I can't remember the name of this voice actor for the narration here, but he does a really good job in this episode. But like I said, there's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of them. This one is just really good. Like, this is definitely one of my favorites of season 3 for sure. This is definitely a good one. Definitely a really good episode. I really, really, really like it. Like, I really do. Yeah, sorry about that too. Didn't mean to go to that direction there. Yeah, that's for a different review that I've already did. Yeah, this is definitely a really good episode. Definitely really good. And, I like, too, at the end of the episode, we get a moment where, they are trying to reveal the Krabby Patty secret formula, but then it cuts to the end. Now, honestly, we already pretty much know the formula. Like, we know, that it's love. We know it has love in it, and then, which makes it taste so good. And then we know the other stuff too. The only thing we don't know is, we don't know if, what kind of meat the Krabby Patty is, but we pretty much, as an audience, already know everything else about it. There's some people saying it could be crab meat, but I don't think that'd be the case, because that'd be too dark for a kid's show. For it to be crab meat, but I guess to be fair, Plankton does serve chum, which is, fish, but I don't remember what kind of fish chum is, but it's fish. But yeah, this episode definitely, though, is really good. Definitely really good. I really do like it. And I think that's about all I have to say about it. So I think this is it. This is pretty much every episode of Season 3, Part 2. Yeah, sorry about messing the video up. I accidentally hit the wrong button. I meant to unpause the video, but I messed it up. I would try to combine the videos together, because that'd be so much easier, but I couldn't do that. But I had to sit here for like 40 minutes waiting for it to get back to that, but yeah, that's pretty much it, though. That's all I wanted to talk about. But I'm gonna go ahead and let the video go, because I don't have a lot else to say. But definitely a really good start for Season 3. There's been, I think, a bad episode or two. I think there's maybe only been one, but definitely a very good start. We'll see how Part 3 will go. Anywho, again, sorry about the video messing up. But next time I'll try to make sure I don't unpause it, or stop the video. But anywho, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.